Every day we're just swimming in information. News, reports, emails. It's a lot.
It really is. A deluge, like you said.
Yeah, and the real challenge isn't just getting it, it's figuring out what actually matters. Especially when it, hits your job, your well-being, your future, really.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes the most powerful things are hiding in plain sight, like a simple form.
Exactly. Which brings us to today's deep dive. The CA-17 Duty Status Report. Seems like just another piece of paper, right?
Right. Standard procedure, maybe?
But for federal employees dealing with a work injury, this form is, well, it's absolutely critical. It's way more than just a note.
It really is. Underestimating it is a huge mistake.
So our mission today is to really unpack the CA-17. We want to give you the strategic lowdown, what it is, the common traps people fall into, lessons from actual cases, and how everyone involved, you and your doctor, can handle it right.
The goal is to empower you, basically. Make sure you know how to protect your rights and keep your recovery on track.
Okay, let's unpack this. Where does it get really interesting? Let's start with the basics. What exactly is the CA-17?
Okay, so think of the CA-17, the Duty Status Report, as your official medical roadmap in the federal workers' comp system. It's the form your doctor fills out after a work injury.
Right.
It documents your medical status, but crucially, it lists any specific work restrictions you have. It's the official word for OWCP, the Office of Workers' Compensation Programs, and for your agency.
Got it. Official word on what you can and can't do. So practically speaking, when do you need this and how often?
You need it right away,
Oh,
after that very first doctor's visit for the work injury. That's number one.
okay.
But, and this is key, it's not a one-time thing. Not at all. It needs regular updates, ideally after every single important doctor's visit.
Every visit. Wow.
Well, maybe not every minor check-in, but definitely after significant ones. For an ongoing injury, think updates at least every 30 days, or anytime your restrictions change, up or down.
And once the doctor signs off, where does this form actually go? Who needs to see it?
Okay, good question. Each updated CA-17 needs to go promptly to OWCP. You can usually upload it yourself through their ECAB system, which is great.
ECAB.
And of course, a copy goes straight to your employer. That means your supervisor and usually the agency's injury compensation specialist or office.
And you said promptly. Why is that timing so critical? You mentioned it's non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable is exactly the word, because your paycheck could literally depend on it, especially early on.
How so?
Well, for traumatic injuries, those are the sudden ones, like a fall filed on a CA-1 form. There's a specific rule. You need to provide medical evidence of your disability within 10 calendar days of stopping work.
10 days. That's fast.
It is. If you miss that deadline, your continuation of pay, or COP, well, the agency can terminate it.
Oh, wait, that's your regular salary, right? Paid by the agency?
Exactly. It's your regular pay for that initial period while you're out. And losing it because a form was late, that's a tough blow right when you're most vulnerable.
No kidding. Just over a week's delay could stop your pay. That sounds incredibly risky. How is this supposed to work smoothly then?
Well, the idea is that your supervisor gives you a blank CA-17 right when you report the injury.
Okay.
They fill out their part, Side A. That describes your job duties, the physical stuff involved. Then you take it to your doctor.
And the doctor does Side B.
Correct. Diagnosis, and importantly, those specific work limitations. Then, and this is the fast part, copies need to get back within a day or two. Original usually to the agency, a copy to OWCP again. eComp is best, and always, always keep a copy for yourself.
That quick turnaround prevents the pay interruption. Makes sense. How long does that COP period last?
A maximum 45 calendar days. Not work days, calendar days.
Okay, 45 days. And after that, if you're still recovering?
After COP runs out, any ongoing wage loss benefits depend entirely on you submitting updated CA-17s or similar medical reports consistently, every few weeks, usually.
So no updated CA-17, potentially no pay after COP ends.
That's often the reality. Without that current medical proof, OWCP can stop payments. So yeah, it's not just a medical note. It's your financial lifeline during recovery.
Okay, that really drives home why we need to talk about the potential problems, the minefield, as you put it, pitfalls, maybe even employer traps. Let's start with the most basic one. What if the form is late or just never shows up?
Yeah, this happens more often than you'd think.
Yay!
Agencies can cut off that COP if the medical evidence isn't there within 10 days. And sometimes, let's be honest, nobody tells the employee about that hard deadline.
Ouch.
Or the supervisor might forget to give you the form, or maybe they get the completed form back, but it sits on their desk, doesn't get forwarded.
So what's the defense against that? How do you protect yourself?
You have to be proactive. Ask for the CA-17 immediately when you report the injury. Don't wait for them to offer.
Okay, ask for it.
And then follow up, make sure it gets back to your supervisor, yes, but also upload it to OWCP yourself via ECAB if you can.
Upload it yourself. That creates proof.
Exactly. It creates your own time-stamped record that OWCP received it. Can't argue with that.
Okay, smart. What about forms that are submitted but they're, like, incomplete or filled out wrong? It seems like another danger zone.
Oh, absolutely. A huge one. Sometimes doctors, maybe they're not familiar with OWCP rules. They might miss a crucial box, like the one asking if the condition is work-related.
The causation question.
Precisely. They might check no by mistake or just leave it blank, and that can be fatal to a claim.
You've seen that happen.
Definitely. We saw a case, a letter carrier with a torn rotator cuff. Doctor filled out the CA-17, listed the tear, but checked no on work-related cause initially. OWCP denied the whole claim, just like that. No causal relationship.
Wow, over one checkbox. How do you prevent that kind of disaster?
You have to sort of gently guide the process. Look at the form before it goes in. Make sure your doctor completes box 8 that the history fits the work incident, and box 10 the diagnosis is linked to work with a clear yes to causation.
You should actually look over the doctor's shoulder, metaphorically speaking.
Well, maybe not literally, but review it before you leave the office or before it's sent. And if it's not clear, ask the doctor to add a sentence, clarifying the link, or even provide a short narrative report. Clarity is everything.
What about Side A, the part the supervisor fills out about the job duties? Can that cause problems too?
Yes, absolutely. Sometimes supervisors, maybe unintentionally, might downplay the physical demands of your job on Side A.
Really? Like, say it's easier than it is.
Exactly. Maybe they forget about the heavy lifting part or the constant standing. If the doctor sees a description that makes the job sound light, they might clear you for duty too soon, or with restrictions that don't actually protect you.
And then the agency could say, see, you're fine, or offer you work you can't do.
Precisely. Which could lead to you being forced back too early or having your benefits stopped if you refuse work that looks suitable on paper but isn't in reality.
So what's the advice there? Review Side A carefully before it goes to the doctor.
100%. Look at Side A yourself. Does it accurately list all the tough parts of your job? Weights, bending, reaching, standing duration. If not, politely ask your supervisor to correct it. Or, at minimum, make sure you tell your doctor what your job really involves. The NALC union actually advises members to thoroughly review Side A for this exact reason. It matters.
Okay, and we talked about needing regular updates. What if those just stop happening?
Another common pitfall. Sometimes the agency doesn't ask for updates, and maybe you, the employee, you just don't realize you need to keep submitting them. You go weeks, maybe a month or more, without sending in a new CA-17.
And OWCP notices that gap.
They do. And they can argue there's no current medical evidence to support ongoing disability or restrictions. Boom, wage loss payments stop. You might have to use your own leave just to cover the gap.
So again, it's about being proactive.
Totally. You need to drive this. Get an updated CA-17 after every significant doctor visit or at least every 30 days without fail. Keep your copies. Make sure they get to the agency and OWCP. Use ECAB, it's your proof.
You mentioned light duty offers earlier. Tell me more about the games that can happen there.
Right, this is a big one. An agency might offer you a light duty or modified job, but sometimes that job offer doesn't actually match the restrictions on your CA-17.
They offer you something you're not supposed to do.
Exactly. Maybe your CA-17 says no lifting over 10 pounds, and the offer involves sorting mail tubs that weigh 20 pounds. Or like that postal worker example, CA-17 said no driving, but the light-duty offer included driving.
What's the strategy behind that from the employer's side?
Sometimes, maybe it's just an oversight, but sometimes the hope might be that you'll refuse the offer because you can't do it. If you refuse a suitable offer, they can stop your compensation. So, offering an unsuitable one and hoping you refuse, it can be a tactic.
That sounds really tricky. So how do you handle that? If you get an offer that seems off?
You need to be meticulous. Get the job offer in writing. Compare it line by line, task by task, against the restrictions on your most recent CA-17.
Line by line.
Yes. If it fits within your restrictions, you generally have to accept it. But if it exceeds your restrictions, even in one small way, you refuse it as not medically suitable.
And just refusing is enough.
No, you need to document why. Write a letter or email to your supervisor and OWCP explaining exactly which parts of the job offer conflict with which restrictions on your CA-17. And if possible, get a quick note from your doctor backing you up. Definitely involve your union rep if you have one.
Okay, documentation and clarity are key there too. It seems like there's one more basic trap missing the initial deadlines for the claim itself.
Ah, yes, good point. Even a perfect series of CA-17s won't help your cop if you didn't file the initial claim form, the CA-1 for a traumatic injury, within 30 days of the injury,
Right.
or if you didn't stop work within 45 days of the injury. Those are fundamental requirements for cop eligibility. Get those wrong, and the CA-17s can't save your continuation of pay.
So what's the big takeaway from all these pitfalls, it sounds like? Diligence is everything.
It really is. Diligence and awareness. Knowing the process, knowing the deadlines, and knowing the potential traps, whether they're just administrative slip-ups or potentially more deliberate actions, you have to be your own best advocate.
And this isn't just theoretical, right? You mentioned real cases. Let's connect this to the Employees Compensation Appeals Board, the ECKB. How do their decisions show the impact of the CA-17?
Oh, the ECAB cases are incredibly illuminating. They show exactly how these forms play out in real life with real consequences. These aren't hypothetical problems. People lose benefits over CA-17 issues all the time.
Give us an example.
Okay, take a case, EC, docket number 08-1/94, back in 2008. A letter carrier hurt his shoulder. His claim got denied. Why?
Yeah.
Because the CA-17s from his doctor failed to clearly state the shoulder condition was actually caused by his work.
The causation link again?
Exactly. One of the forms even said not due to injury. The ECKK looked at that and said, sorry, no proof of causation, denial upheld.
Wow. Lesson learned.
The doctor has to explicitly link the condition to the work injury on the CA-17. Check that box. Write it in the diagnosis. If you see an error like that, get it fixed immediately, maybe with a supplemental note from the doctor explaining the connection.
That's start. What about the timeliness issue in COP? Any cases there?
Yep. Look at RM, docket 210446 from 2022. A postal workers' COP got stopped. The agency said they didn't have continued medical evidence. Now, a CA-17 was submitted, but there was a complication or claim type got changed later, which affected COP rules. But the core issue highlighted by ECB was the absolute need for timely, ongoing medical evidence during that critical COP period. If you did submit your CA-17 on time and COP still gets denied, this case supports your right to appeal that.
Okay. And for longer-term injuries after COP, when you're relying on CA-17s for wage loss, what do cases say about consistency?
That's where AW, docket 180589 from 2019, is relevant. This employee's wage loss claim was partly denied because her CA-17s and doctor's notes were inconsistent or unclear about her work status.
How so? What kind of inconsistency?
Like one form might say, return to work with restrictions, but then a note a few weeks later says, unable to work, without a clear explanation for the change. Or the restrictions themselves are vague.
And OWCP doesn't like ambiguity.
Not at all. ECKB basically said the evidence didn't consistently support disability for the whole period claimed. The lesson. Your CA-17s and medical notes need to tell a clear, consistent story. Specify dates for any changes in status, totally disabled, light duty, return to regular duty. The weight of medical evidence, as ECK puts it, needs to be solid.
So summing up these cases, the CA-17 isn't just a formality. It's often the central piece of evidence.
Absolutely. Solid, clear, consistent, and timely CA-17 documentation. That's your armor in this system. It truly is.
Okay, that's incredibly helpful context. Let's get really practical now for you, the listener. Based on everything we've discussed, the rules, the pitfalls, the cases, what's the action plan? How do you stay on track and protect your benefits?
Right, let's boil it down to the essentials. Think of this as your strategic checklist.
Okay, pillar number 1. Speed and documentation from day 1. What does that mean in practice?
It means tell your supervisor the day you get hurt, don't wait. And for those traumatic injuries, file that Form CA-1 using ECAB ideally within 30 days. That protects your COP rights.
And getting treatment covered.
Ask for Form CA-16, authorization for examination and further treatment within 7 days. Give that to your doctor so they know the feds are covering the initial care related to the injury.
Yeah, step 1, immediate reporting, CA-1, CA-16. Got it. Pillar number 2, your first CA-17 is gold.
Yes. Take that CA-17 form, make sure your supervisor fills out Side A first to your very first doctor's appointment. Emphasize to the doctor they need to be clear about your work status and restrictions. Get that completed form back fast, submit it to your supervisor, and upload it to OWCP within those crucial 10 days of stopping work. That locks in your COP, assuming the injury is approved.
All right. Pillar 3, follow restrictions, communicate status.
Give the completed CA-17 to your supervisor right away, and then you absolutely must follow the doctor's restrictions. Don't try to tough it out and do more.
Why is that so important?
because if you work outside your restrictions and get re-injured, it complicates things immensely. Also, if the agency says they don't have suitable work within your restrictions, that CA-17 is your proof that you're entitled to compensation while you're off.
Okay, makes sense. Pillar 4, keep the wage loss claims flowing. This is after COP, right?
Right. If you're up beyond the 45 days of COP, or if you have an occupational disease claim where COP doesn't apply, you need to claim wage loss using Form CA-7. Usually you file this every 2 weeks.
And the link to the CA-17.
Each CA-7 must be accompanied by current medical documentation showing you were disabled for the period you're claiming. Usually that means attaching your latest CA-17 or a similar doctor's note. No medical documentation, no wage loss payment.
Got it. Pillar 5, and you've stressed this. Consistent ongoing documentation is your shield.
Cannot stress this enough. Get a new CA-17 after every significant doctor visit, or at bare minimum every 30 days. Even if your restrictions haven't changed, it shows OWCP you're still under active care and your status is current.
And be specific on those restrictions.
Absolutely. Light duty isn't enough. How many pounds can you lift? How long can you stand or sit? Can you kneel, climb, reach? Quantify everything. Send copies to the agency and OWCP. Keep copies yourself. Use ECAB.
Okay. Pillar 6, know your leave status and track COP.
Once COP ends, check your pay stubs. Make sure your agency is coding your time off correctly as LWOP or WCP, leave without pay due to the work injury. You don't want them accidentally charging your sick or annual leave.
And track the COP days.
Yes. Keep your own calendar. Know exactly when those 45 calendar days started and when they end. Don't rely solely on the agency to track it perfectly.
Good advice. Pillar 7, strategic response to job offers. We touched on this.
Yes. Get any limited duty or modified job offer in writing. Compare it meticulously, line by line, against your latest CA-17. If it fits, you likely have to accept it. If it doesn't fit your restrictions, refuse it in writing immediately. Explain exactly why it's unsuitable, referencing your CA-17 copy OWCP. Never, ever just ignore a job offer. That's seen as refusing suitable work.
Okay. Pillar 8, become your own case manager.
Treat this whole process like a critical project, maybe even a part-time job. Check the ECAB portal regularly, maybe weekly, for updates or letters from OWCP.
Respond quickly.
Yes. OWCP letters often have a 30-day deadline for response. Don't miss it. Keep an organized file, physical or digital, of everything. Forms, letters, doctor's notes, your own notes on phone calls. That paper trail is invaluable if disputes arise.
And finally, Pillar 9, know your rights and seek support.
If things go wrong, your claim is denied, COP is stopped unfairly, you disagree about a job offer, don't just give up. Understand you have appeal rights. You can request a hearing, ask for reconsideration by OWCP, or appeal to the ECP. Consult your union steward or representative. They often have a lot of experience with OWCP issues. And remember, you have the right to choose your own treating physician within reason. Don't feel stuck with a doctor who isn't helping.
That's a really comprehensive action plan. Covers a lot of ground.
It's all about being informed and proactive. That's how you navigate the system successfully.
Now, this brings up a really important point. We focused a lot on what the employee needs to do, but the medical provider, the doctor, plays such a huge role here.
Absolutely crucial. Their documentation on the CA-17 can make or break a claim, or significantly impact the employee's recovery and benefits.
So what advice would you give to doctors or medical providers filling out these forms? How can they best support their patients in this process?
Okay, great question. For medical providers, my first piece of advice is be specific and quantify restrictions. Please avoid vague terms like light duty or sedentary work.
Why is that so bad?
Because it leaves everything open to interpretation. What does light duty mean? 10 pounds, 20. Does it include standing? Instead, quantify it. No lifting over 10 pounds, standing limited to 1 hour at a time, 4 hours total per 8-hour day. No repetitive keyboarding. Specificity protects the patient. Second, and we've hit this hard, but it's vital, clearly link the diagnosis to the work injury. State right on the form, in the diagnosis section or notes, that the condition is due to or caused by or aggravated by the specific work incident described by the patient. OWCP needs that clear statement of causation from the physician.
Okay, be specific, link causation. What else?
Fill out every relevant field. Don't leave blanks. If a section doesn't apply, write NA. A complete form looks more credible. And critically, sign and date the form clearly, including your medical specialty. An unsigned report might just get ignored.
Makes sense. Provide rationale.
Yes. Use objective findings and medical rationale. Briefly note why you're imposing the restrictions. MRI confirms rotator cuff to your patient restricted from overhead reaching. Or positive tunnel sign at wrist limit repetitive hand use. This medical justification prevents OWCP or the agency from just guessing or pushing back.
Should doctors look at Side A, the job description?
Absolutely. Match restrictions to job duties. Please, take a moment to review Side A where the supervisor described the job. Then tailor your restrictions specifically to those tasks. If the job involves climbing, address climbing. If it involves driving, address driving. Spell out what the patient can and cannot do related to their actual work.
And if the patient simply cannot work at all,
Be explicit if patient cannot work at all. If that's your medical opinion, state it clearly. Patient totally disabled from all work activity until date, or no work of any kind recommended at this time. Ambiguity here can lead to premature return to work pressure.
you also mentioned the impact on pay earlier.
Right. Doctors should understand return to work implications and wage cuts. Releasing a patient back to work, even light duty, before they're truly ready, or with restrictions that are too lenient, can directly cause their wage loss benefits from OWCP to be reduced or stopped. Be cautious, be precise, and prioritize the patient's safe and full recovery.
And finally, timeliness from the doctor's side.
Yes, prioritize timeliness and frequency. Get that completed CA-17 back to the patient or agency quickly, ideally within that 2-day window. OWCP prefers to avoid pay issues. Provide updated reports consistently after each main visit or every 30 days for ongoing cases, and make sure the CA-17 aligns with any longer narrative reports you might write. Consistency across all medical documents is key.
That's excellent advice for the medical community. Their partnership is so vital here.
It truly is. When employees and informed doctors work together, the system works much better.
So we started with what looked like a simple form, the CA-17 duty status report, and we've unpacked it to see it's actually, well, it's a powerful strategic tool, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's fundamental for protecting an injured federal employee's rights, their income stream, and ensuring they have a safe pathway back to work when appropriate.
Diligence, detail, consistency, proactivity. These seem to be the watchwords.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This whole deep dive really highlights how these seemingly small administrative details, the fine print of our working lives, can have such a massive impact on our well-being and our financial stability.
It's a lesson that applies far beyond just this one form, I think.
Definitely. So here's a final thought for you, our listener. Where else in your life, maybe your work, your finances, your health planning, are you encountering forms, documents, maybe digital processes that you might be overlooking? Things that seem routine but might hold similar quiet power to either protect you or significantly impact your future. Maybe there's another deep dive waiting just for you, hiding in plain